What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video. Today's video is going to be a bit different. This has been a long time coming. If you've been around the channel long enough, you'll know that I promised this back when I hit 100k, and it should be clear that I'm kinda late to this. So what even is this and why have I been talking about it so much? Well, this is going to be kind of a mix of a what if and a rewrite of Dragon Ball Super. Now, here's a big disclaimer. I'm not trying to quote unquote improve Super in any way. I don't want to act like my story or writing is above or beyond Super's at all. And I know some people will prefer Super's story regardless. The point of this rewrite is just to make a fun, unique scenario, utilizing elements of Super, as well as elements from GT and Heroes, in order to make a new but familiar story. I've been thinking about this and working on it for a while, and since it is my channel's 3rd anniversary, now is a fitting time. Expect more of a what if / fanfiction than an actual rewrite. The story is not following the logic or story of Dragon Ball Super, but is still a direct continuation of Z. Don't be surprised if I do things differently because that's kind of the point. It's its own new story, although we're just going to call it a Dragon Ball Super rewrite for simplicity. Part of the reason it took so long is because I had to write a lot of it out before I can continue this, unlike my other videos. Those ones I just kind of go along as the series goes along. This one, I had to plan ahead. And I'm still waiting on getting new art, but for this video, we don't really need too much new art, so that's fine. Alright, big disclaimer out of the way. Let's hit a like goal of 3,500 likes for this. If we hit that, I'll continue this rewrite and keep going onwards until the story ends. And now, after all this time waiting, we can finally begin this rewrite. Part 1 begins with what I like to call the Resurrected God Saga. Majin Buu is defeated, and Earth returns to peace. The arc of course ends normally, but what follows will be greatly different. This piece of the story isn't going to be as different as the normal one, but still will have huge differences. And as the story continues on, you'll see it diverge more and more from the actual story. Immediately following the Buu Saga, about a year or so after the end of it, Goku is now getting adjusted to Earth life again. He has 7 years of catching up to do. The Buu Saga was a great experience for him, in order to show off his power and get stronger. But now he wants to focus on more small things. It would be nice to train with his family a bit, especially Goten and Gohan. He wants to see how much they've grown, and he hasn't really gotten to train with Goten at all, so this is the perfect opportunity. Gohan, Goten, and even Trunks all understand what Goku was talking about during the Buu Saga. The next generation, they need to be prepared, and they need to start now. Clearly they weren't for this, but it's fine. They still have a lot of time to grow and improve. They recognize the great power that they have, as well as their mistakes. This especially applies to Gohan. He recognized that with the great power of his ultimate form, he must use it properly, not being blinded by his hubris. Now that he has such insane power, he needs to hone it further. It's something that both Goku and Piccolo have been preaching for him. As for Goten and Trunks, they admire their fathers, with Goten also looking up to Gohan. The two have a long way to go, but they want to be stronger, not just relying on Gotenks either. I mean, Gotenks is cool, they love fusing, but still, they see the power that their fathers have and think it's awesome. They could probably be just as strong as them one day, maybe even stronger. They need to go beyond Super Saiyan. That's the first step. Gohan and Goten train with Goku, try to learn more and more and hone their power. While Super Saiyan 3 does feel and look cool, Goku realizes that it's not worth teaching them. It has too many drawbacks and he doesn't want them to focus too much on that, especially Gohan who has his own thing now. Instead, their best option now is to work on their base power, as well as trying to get Goten to access Super Saiyan 2. I mean, with two of them there already knowing Super Saiyan 2, this shouldn't be too bad. And the same kind of goes for Vegeta and Trunks. He's not going to be as focused on his rivalry with Kakarot. He's come to terms with the fact that Kakarot is simply number 1. But as for Trunks, he knows his son can do better. He expects a lot from him, and he wants to train Trunks to be strong. The humans also kind of have a change here too. Krillin feels embarrassed if anything. His performance during Buu's arrival was kind of weird. He was turned to stone, and then tossed aside, nothing more. He wants to get more serious with his training. And even though he's been kind of away from the group for a while, he knows exactly who to consult for this. Tenshinhan. He's already been training this whole time, and Krillin wants to train with him. 18 supports Krillin's endeavors. Honestly, she's not too into it herself, but if her husband wants to get stronger, that's great. Piccolo, Yamcha, and a few others remain the same. Yamcha clearly doesn't see training in the same light as everyone else, and Piccolo, well, he's Piccolo. He's going to be training and getting stronger regardless. He'll be remaining the same during this rewrite, at least for this first part. We've covered what's been going on with everyone in the main cast. But that's not all that's been happening in the universe. On the Sacred World of Kai's, around the same time as all this, Kabuto has been trying to learn more from Elder Kai, and learn about him as well. The Shin part of Kabuto feels like he hasn't done a great job as Supreme Kai. He needs to change that. And who better to get some info from than the Elder Kai? Elder Kai begins explaining his story. Long ago, he was sealed into some sword due to some unknown villain. He mentioned this before, but we're gonna get into that later. And no, that unknown villain isn't Beerus. Like I said, we're gonna get into all of that later. This is another big change here. This meant that Shin was essentially the only one watching over the universe, a novice Kai who doesn't know much. Kabuto then asks, are there any other gods they don't know about? They're surprised that they didn't know Elder Kai beforehand. And he knows about other universes and the fact that they have other gods too, but something's always bothered him about Universe 7. There hasn't been a destroyer. I mean, there's been rumors and legends of one existing a long time ago. However, no one knows what happened to it. Shin and Kabuto did want to ask before to try and find out, but they felt so intimidated by the other universes. especially with Zeno. They didn't want to bother him. Maybe he erased this mythical god of destruction for a reason, which is why he didn't exist in Universe 7. He never learned from any of his colleagues before they died either, so it never came to mind to actually ask about this. After Boo killed them all he had was his prior knowledge. But now with Elder Kai here, he has to know, right? And he does. He reveals something. This god of destruction and by extension an angel do exist in this universe. However, he was linked to Elder Kai. Had Elder Kai been killed or sealed away like he was, this god would suffer the same fate. Elder Kai was sealed this entire time, and he even died in the Boo Saga when he brought Goku back. However, now he's alive thanks to Porunga. He tells Kibito Shin, somewhere out there, this god must exist. Now that he's free from the seal, this god must be free too. Where can they find him and where has he been? It's been a while since Boo was defeated, so he should be here by now, right? Elder Kai isn't too sure himself. He hasn't talked with him in a while, even before the seal was made. This god of destruction's name is Beerus. In this scenario, as I kind of touched upon, Beerus is essentially a myth. Hence why Kibito Shin isn't linked to him nor knows about him in some stories. Instead of a lazy god that doesn't do his job, he was essentially out of commission for millions of years, the same amount of time that Elder Kai has been sealed. Otherwise, the universe may have not faced threats like Frieza, Boo, etc. There was a reason this god of destruction wasn't doing his job. He physically couldn't. This is one of the changes that I wanted to make the gods more competent. Retroactively, it doesn't make Shin look as bad, and especially Beerus himself, which we'll be getting into. This god of destruction, he was a fearsome person. He had a short temper, but he was not a bad guy. He was a somewhat harsh yet fair ruler, one who ruled with pure neutrality and sought to improve Universe 7 overall. Long ago, this did work, but of course when Elder Kai was sealed, Beerus seemingly vanished, alongside his angel. Were they sealed alongside him? Were they just stationary? Did they disappear? Did they die? Maybe they're in a separate seal. Elder Kai can't theorize too much because he isn't too sure. But one thing does remain certain. Now that he's free, Beerus is too. We go over to a different realm, far away from the sacred world of Kais. Let's rewind a bit. Immediately after the Boo Saga ends, Elder Kai is brought back to life, and this god of destruction is brought back too. He sees his angel appear near him again. What the hell happened? How long was he sealed away? What's been going on? He's incredibly confused, but also in a state of panic. Whis tells him, it's been a while, like a couple million years while. Oh god, Beerus is in a complete state of panic. He has to make sure the universe has been okay. I mean, he hasn't been active for so long. Is everything fine without him? He has to figure out what's happening in the past few million years, and this is going to take months of research. With all that time passing on Earth, this is where Beerus has been since Boo was defeated. He's been researching. Of course, he would like to do his job, but there isn't much to do, thankfully. Right now, he just needs to figure out what's been going on with Universe 7. He's been studying, learning more and more about his universe, trying to catch up on every single little event. And after all this time spent researching, he eventually gets up to the present day. Of course, he does want to figure out who sealed him and Elder Kai, but that could wait for later. It seems like it's not an immediate threat. Whoever or whatever it was, they've done nothing for a while, so maybe it's okay. He'll deal with that when he needs to. He eventually does consult the Kais, who tells him everything about Boo. Since this was recent, and it pertains to him coming back, he needs to know all the info about this, because the info is fresh, he could find it anywhere. But he needs to go to the people who defeated Boo. He has so much to ask them about. I mean, he has done some research on Earth, and had they not actually been responsible for defeating Boo, he probably would have destroyed them. He noticed that someone was messing with time, and he's angered but also disappointed. He hears that there's not many planets with intelligent life left. It's not like it's his or Shin's fault either. Shin couldn't do much alone, and Beerus didn't want to not be involved. There's so much lost time, and so much damage to this universe. What happened to the glorious Universe 7? As I mentioned, Beerus isn't some lazy god here, but his personality, such as his temper and love for food, will remain, and his research leads him to Earth. He's going to pay them a visit. He needs as much info as possible, and he wants to meet these supposed Saiyans that live there. Apparently, they're powerful. We move back to Earth. Gohan is at Mr. Satan's house, spending some quality time with Videl. Suddenly, they hear a loud crash as Mr. Satan screams. They run over and see there's a big hole in the roof. Majin Buu was flung through the wall by someone and is now laying in the yard. Mr. Satan is hiding behind a couch, cowering in fear, and they see two people standing there. A tall blue man with white hair, and what looks like a large cat. Mr. Satan points a gun at him, and begins firing at Beerus. The bullets simply bounce off the back of Beerus' head. He doesn't even notice them, but he does notice a strong power behind him. Gohan. He walks up to him, not even introducing himself yet. Why is Majin Buu still alive? After all that destruction he caused, why is he still here? Gohan's ready to fight, but he's not too sure who this guy is, and his power, it feels like it's not there. He can't sense anything at all. Buu is completely knocked unconscious, but everyone else could sense Gohan's power rising. Suddenly, Goku teleports over, also with Goten alongside him, and Vegeta and Trunks are trying to head over now. Beerus sees everyone arriving, and he's already kind of been caught up to speed by Gohan. Thankfully, the two have cooled down, and he explains that Majin Buu is good now. That's a piece of him that's actually good. There's no maliciousness left. He apologizes for his loud introduction, as Whis fixes up the room for Mr. Satan with no effort. He should have introduced himself first. His name is Lord Beerus, the god of destruction for this universe. Obviously, it would be too complicated for him to explain everything, so he just tells them what they need to know. Who he is, what he does, and where he's been. He's gotten the info about Boo that he needs, but now, he's actually interested in these mortals. These Earthlings seem strong, specifically the Saiyans. He briefly sensed that power within Gohan, and as for the others, their power hasn't spiked yet, but he could tell that they're strong just by looking at them. Oh, he sees now. Could it be that these two are Saiyan gods? Saiyan gods? Oh, they don't know what this is. Beerus is hoping that they might have known. In his research, he learned about this thing. A Saiyan god. It's some sort of legend. A Saiyan long ago was able to defeat other evil Saiyans, using this power. And he knows godly power is pretty potent. I mean, look at him. But this is intriguing. They defeated Boo without godly powers. And he looks at Gohan. He senses within him a trace amount of God Ki. Gohan has no idea why he has that, but he theorizes, telling Beerus about the ritual with Elder Kai. That's it. That's why he has that. But it's strange, he doesn't seem to be a Saiyan god. He shows off Ultimate, and Beerus is impressed with the power. Of course, it's not even close to his own. Strange. It must be because he isn't a pure Saiyan. Without even knowing it, Gohan's had a godly form this entire time, Ultimate. It was granted to him by Elder Kai after all, and that's another change in this scenario. But if that's possible, then maybe a Saiyan god is too. Maybe it isn't some legend. For Gohan, his latent potential was unlocked, also gaining trace amounts of godly ki from Elder Kai without even knowing. Not a lot, but enough to cause this form to occur. So Beerus begins theorizing, maybe if these Saiyans get a dosage of godly ki, way more than what Gohan got, maybe that Saiyan god thing is real, although it's not going to be from Elder Kai. He's far too weak now, but maybe some godly ki from Beerus can help, although he's getting too far ahead of himself. He barely knows these Saiyans yet, but he is excited. He would like a Saiyan god, not only as a rival, but so he could study mortals further. He needs to learn more about his universe. I mean, he barely knows anything about Saiyans. They didn't even exist when he was sealed away. And they seem like one of the strongest species in Universe 7. He's very curious about mortals, specifically the Saiyans and everyone else on Earth. He's been sealed away for so long that he needs to learn more about them. He is concerned about the universe after all. It's his duty to learn and know all of this. Goku and Vegeta are intrigued to hear about this. Another quick note, Vegeta's never met Beerus here or knew about him. With Beerus' backstory, that should be pretty clear. They all start discussing more, and Beerus challenges these Saiyans to fight him, together. Well, if he wants. The two of them power up into Super Saiyan 2. Goku even goes into Super Saiyan 3 at some point, even if it's risky. And Beerus can fight them with no effort. The two of them are sloppy fighting together, and they can't hope to face him. Maybe even if these two became Saiyan gods, they couldn't even fight him then. But he can tell. They have potential. And surprisingly, he sees potential in another person too. Well, two other people. He notices the potential in Gohan, but also Majin Buu. He does have godly abilities already, as well as magical properties. He offers everyone, come train with him. Gohan has to decline, but he appreciates the offer. He's going to stay here on Earth, where he's going to continue his training. He probably can't even get that Saiyan God form anyways. He's just going to practice with Ultimate. Although, maybe he could swing by from time to time. I mean, his dad could literally teleport anywhere after all. But as for Goku, Vegeta, and Buu, they all go to Beerus' planet to begin training. Mainly under Whis, but Beerus himself is also involved as well. It takes time, effort, and research. But through training, they're slowly exposed to godly ki. As they train, their bodies grow and take it in. No rituals here. Once a week, Beerus makes them fight him. This is a way for him to see their progress. At first, the fights go just like they did on Earth, but slowly they do get stronger and stronger, and they try and channel that godly ki into themselves. He notices it growing, but it's not enough yet. Although as more time passes, they grow stronger and stronger. They're adapting. They're even learning to fight together, which is impressive. But most importantly, that godly ki within them is growing more and more. And one week, he asks them to fight. This time, try and channel that godly ki. Control it. Use it. And something amazing happens. This is what Beerus wanted all along. The two of them, both with equal amounts of godly ki, and with a great knowledge of how they function as Saiyans, they're able to finally pull it off. A strange red-haired form. Oh, Beerus was expecting a bit more, but hey, this is definitely something. He can sense the power surging through them. They've done it. They've become Saiyan gods. Although they still have a long ways to go in terms of strength. And something really weird happens after this. Once they power down, their base forms, they're so much stronger than before. They need to get used to this new strength. This godly energy must have been absorbed into their base form. But there's another weird side effect. Whenever they try and transform, it feels like they can't go Super Saiyan anymore, much less Super Saiyan 2 or 3. Their base has already surpassed their Super Saiyan form, and their Saiyan God form is incredibly strong as well, but their Super Saiyan forms, they're gone. Beerus tells them they must have encountered a trade-off. Interesting. It might be temporary, it might be permanent. Who knows? He theorizes. Saiyan God set them to a level so high that they now need to relearn their previous powers. I mean, Saiyan God is a completely different path from Super Saiyan after all, at least from what he notices. And with the fact that they need to relearn these powers now, he wonders where that may lead them. The two of them are kind of bummed. In the best case scenario, they need to relearn Super Saiyan and everything. In the worst case scenario, it's gone for good, but not like that really matters. I mean, Saiyan God is more than enough, and their base is already very strong as is. Maybe this new path of power will be interesting, even with the trade-offs. And Beerus is excited. His 2 students, his 2 rivals, these 2 mortals that he's taken an interest in. They're so powerful. Of course, there's Majin Buu as well, who still needs to be more disciplined, but he is very strong as is, and Beerus is glad. Even with all that time he spent gone, there's hope for Universe 7. He could shape this universe into something beautiful. Make up for all the lost time, learn everything about it. That panic and anxiety he felt before, it's all gone. All he feels now is motivation. 3 godly figures, Beerus, Whis, and Elder Kai, they've been resurrected. 2 godly figures, Goku and Vegeta, they've been created. With these gods resurrected, the story is now set into motion. The Buu Saga had major consequences. Every action and force had an echo. However, the good created in this introductory part will swiftly be encountered by an evil presence. Goku and Vegeta are only just now scratching the surface of the realm of gods and magic. And even with Buu defeated, there might be more enemies out there. And Beerus wonders, what else is out there that even he doesn't know of? Well, we'll have to save that for the next parts. This is where we'll leave off for now. So, what did you guys think about this rewrite so far? Obviously, I'm doing it in a completely different way from my normal what ifs. Even the format in which I tell it is different. What do you think the next arc will be? And more importantly, what suggestions do you have for the series going forward? Leave any of your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think, because it'll help me improve this story as I go on further. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. This project has been in the works for a while, and if we hit that like goal, I'll continue it on further because I'll know there's interest, and it really helps with the channel and lets me see your feedback. If you haven't already, why not subscribe, as well as hitting the bell icon so you're notified about any future uploads on my channel, including more parts of this rewrite, more what ifs or discussion videos, or any other uploads like that. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.